Up next on our countdown, a record that I like. I had never heard it until I got this CD back, somewhere in the late 1990s. Singing drummers are a rare breed in rock and roll. Of course, the Trashmen had theirs. Matt Lucas is another musician who was a drummer, and he said it was kind of did a bluesy throwaway take on the Hank Snow classic, I'm Moving On, and he took it up into halfway up the charts in 1963. He said he was born in Memphis in 1935, adopted by a family in Poplar Bluff, Missouri. And he said, my adopted mom and dad tried to raise me right, took me to church and so on, but I chose to be a wild, crazy kid hanging around pool halls with an older crowd. And I was in trouble. I did 14 months in jail for stealing a cement truck in Boonville, Missouri, when I was about 14. And he came back to Missouri in 56, started playing and singing with Katz Bradley, a great tenor sax player. And he also started to play as a drummer on sessions at Dwight Gordon's studio and jamming with Bobby Ward, Ike Turner, and lots of people around the St. Louis area. Then he moved to Chicago. He said, I played in mostly gangster and strip clubs. Came back again in Missouri, played with a Charles King band. And he had made friends with Narvel Feltz down in Missouri. And those two started to do some sessions and demos together. Feltz went into producer Roland Jane's Sonic Studio. Roland Janes was Jerry Lee Lewis's guitar player in the great tunes like Whole Lotta Shakin' and so on. And he had the Sonic Studios in Memphis. And Narvel went in there to make a tune. In a break, Matt Lucas was telling him, hey, he said, I play this ramped-up version of I'm Moving On, and it fills the dance floor every time I play it at dances. And Narvel Feltz says, hey, why not? Let's do it. So they cut it and didn't think a whole lot of it, but they did eventually released it on the Renee record label, which, as we mentioned, belonged to Roland James. He said, I took it to a number of radio stations, pop stations in the area. They wouldn't play it, so then I went to Rufus Thomas at WDIA in Memphis, and he played it, started getting reaction. Then also he called up some of his other friends in the radio business, John R. at WLAC and Bob McKee at WAOK in the South, and before long, Smash Records picked it up because it was becoming a local hit in the South, and they thought it might go nationwide. He said, I moved to Canada. After that, I did some other records, covers, Ooby Dooby and Maybelline. He said, now in 2008, I've been married 7 times, had 1 heart attack. I've been on the road for nearly 50 years, and now he's happily married to Barbara. We make our homes. We have 2 of them, 1 in Florida, 1 in New Mexico. And I really like this version. I didn't like it at first, but it got to me after about 3 or 4 times. I kept going back and playing his version of I'm Moving On. Hit number 56, his one and only chart appearance. That was in June after charting for 9 weeks. Matt Lucas.
Wind it up, baby. Oh, shake it for your daddy. I'm gonna ride that train tonight. Goodbye. Big 8 wheel rolling down the track. Me and your true loving daddy ain't gonna come back. I wanna move. I got to move. Well, don't you hesitate when I motivate. I wanna move on. One of these days, son, it won't be long. You're gonna look for Matt Lucas. Matt Lucas be gone. I wanna move. I got to move. You flying much too high when you give him the eye. I wanna move on. I got to move. Why move? I wanna move. I wanna move. I wanna move, pretty baby, move it on down the line. I got to move. Why move? Yeah, move. I wanna move. Well, goodbye, pretty baby, I'm on my way. I wanna move on. Engineer, take a throttle in hand, and won't you move me right down to that good loving land? I wanna move. I got to move. Well, I'm on my way. I'm going home to stay. I wanna move on. I wanna move. I wanna move. I wanna move. Get rid of these blues. You find much too high when you gave him the eye. I wanna move on. I got to move. I got to move. Baby! Baby! You flying much too high when you gave him the eye. I wanna move. Well, don't you hesitate, I'm on a motorade, I got to move on. Well, get yourself under control, I got to go, I want to move on.